Hello in TV land, it's your boy Freelancer Joe, ready to once again get cracking. It is a wonderful and beautiful Wednesday afternoon as I'm recording this. Afternoon, evening, I wouldn't say it's evening, late afternoon. I'll go with late afternoon. As I record this, the clouds have lifted. A nice mild temperature, very soothing breeze, humidity's low, and it has Freelancer Joe feeling great. So I hope whenever you're watching this that things are going just as great and wonderful for you as well. Thank you for once again joining me. Oh, if Freelancer Joe seems like he has lots of energy today, because unsurprisingly this is after my normal afternoon workout, and I'm feeling particularly jacked today. Although it's kind of tiring me out. I'm running out of energy. I have to force myself to do my slick, suave moves. Oh man, that's gonna be tiring. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow. How y'all doing today? Let's see. What shall my opening segment be? I think that pretty much just about covers my entire opening segment. Not much else to really jabber on about. I mean, like I said, I mentioned the weather, and normally that's I'm sure that is actually a somewhat uninteresting topic to many people. I mean, it's small talk, but I try to avoid too many topical things so that my recordings can be timeless. Wednesday. Did I say Wednesday afternoon? I hope I said Wednesday afternoon. It is Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. So, time does fly, doesn't she? Mm. I'm just admiring the green on the trees and the blue sky. Although the leaves are some of the leaves are kind of starting to turn. I do love fall so much. Fall is great and wonderful and the best. Well, I'm the best, but it's up there as far as seasons go. Alright, so one of the problems with doing these videos right after, or fairly close after I finish my training, is that the body temperature is still running hot, which is a very non-subtle way of me saying I'm hot, in which case I'm sure my viewers are going to say, well, Freelancer Joe, you're always hot. How do you not sweat? Because I'm also cool. Yeah, jibber jabber, prattling on. Alright, let's minimize myself first. And it did it again. Alright, so I'm going to hit win. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit escape. See, it did it. It did it, but it stopped. It stopped. Alright, we'll back that up. And so now, yes, I should be able to lower the resolution so as you're not blinded by my extremely rugged, beautiful yet manly good looks. Okay, that's good. I'll close this. Alright, so where were we yesterday? We were going over my lambdas. Were we going over my lambdas? Yes, we were going over my lambdas. And I had just about finished going over all of them. The email one, the S3 read one. Did I review that one? I may not have, but I mean that. But that didn't really change. I think the last one that I wanted to go over, if I remember correctly, was the query demo. Alright, so going over this, what file is this? And it's the query demo. See, it's a funny thing when you do this multi-split view, is you can have the same file open in two different places. I think that has application somehow, but if you click on one of the files in Explorer, it's going to go to whatever the last active window was, so kind of easy to lose track of those things. Alright. So starting over, my Dynamo query follows the same pattern as everything else. So again, we've got our import of AWS. Oh, wait, this guy still accesses DDB. Okay, so I get to change stuff, and you get to watch me change stuff. Isn't that neat? Well, by change stuff, I simply mean cut and paste. Let me shuffle things around. Okay. So here we have the required of that, AWS, configuration of AWS, whereas this old file has the DDB using Dynamo directly, but the new approach has us using the dot client. So we'll go ahead and throw in the dot client here. We do not need this anymore. Right? Our handlers should be the same, where we generate the parameters, invoke the service. If we're missing fields, I wonder if it makes more. Alright. If our generated parameter object does not have a response code of 400, we go ahead and invoke the service. Otherwise, we send a response saying that they're missing fields. Our boilerplate for sending a response. And again, these headers are to allow cross-origin requests to work. Generate parameters. Alright. Again, my new convention is going to be to go ahead and include what the sample input should look like. Alright. And so let's double check to see, well, let's go ahead and first open up this DynamoDB in a separate tab just for that. And let's go ahead and take a look at the lambdas. Let's see if I actually have a lambda for that. Let me back it. I do have a query one. Updated 4 days ago. Alright. Let's take a look at what we got in here. Should have, alright, no triggers, body, what it has access to. Yeah, still debating about whether or not I should bother trimming that down. Alright, what does the code look like? Okay, yeah. So this was when I was still messing around with the query stuff, trying to figure it out. Still has the old DDB. And you see here where I'm actually hard coding values. So yeah, it's still pretty out of date. Alright. But at least I do have the function, the lambda already created. And let's take a look at our tables, just to refresh our memory. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. This is the old table. Second table. The first table just had the row ID. The first table just had this and a value, partition key and a value, and then this one had the partition key and a column for number values and then a column for string values. But we don't need that anymore. And Dynamo is very nice about letting you back things up just in case it's something you shouldn't delete. Unsurprising. Pretty much all the services that Amazon makes available to its AWS users are obviously services that Amazon itself uses, and so they have their lessons learned in these things. And so our table now has our partition key, our sort key, and I actually called it that to kind of reinforce it in my mind. Because ideally this would be modeled after whatever it is you're trying to store, right? So like Let's say this would be, if you're tracking orders, like this would be the user ID and maybe their order number, and then whatever they ordered. What else could you be? All right, so let's say you have a shopping cart, not a shopping cart, a storefront, right? So your primary key could be how you group your widgets, and then the sort key could be like the actual name of said widget, or books, right? So primary key could be books by the author name for a book, and then their sort key would be what the title is, that kind of thing. So we have alpha, 3 entries for alpha, 1 for Bravo, 1 for Charlie. Okay. So now looking back here, our sample input says primary key, sort key, and a value type number. Okay, so we play around with this because this is where query stuff kind of gets neat. Alright, so response code, that's our default value, table name, in an environment variable. Okay, so let's see, let's make sure that we have our environment variable set for that. Okay, that is the old table. So now our new table, Dynamo Demo Alpha. Alright, save that. And it pulls, so my sample query, it pulls the primary key, a sort key, and a value number. So we'll just use those for now. So you basically need to define the key that you're looking for. So in my previous example where I said, books, right? So your primary key, you specify the author. So you're looking for books by this particular author. I mean, if you wanted to get all books without that key, you got to do a scan. And like I said, that's not a good idea. So this is where I validate it, all right, and then we set the response code. And again, because this was the old way, we're using the DDB itself, and we had to specify the attribute value types. But if you look at, if we're using the document client here, we specify a table name, and we can specify the key condition. And this is where things get kind of cool, right? So if you look at this, I say the key condition, the row primary key equals a value, and the row sort key is greater than a certain value. So if our row sort key for our book example, instead of a name, was like date published, I could get all books by an author after a certain date. So that's kind of neat. But then, even better, so you specify how to narrow down the results based on the key, but you can trim down even further from that particular set by a filter expression, in which case this one says if the value type number is greater than a certain value. And here's the cool thing about the document client. Instead of having to do that I blah blah blah, I can just go ahead and define the things directly. Primary keys, okay. Alright, so let me see. And then our invoke service here, you see, it only has the DDB query. We don't have DDB anymore. We use .client, and everything else is the same. So let's go ahead and put it in here. See if we get an error. And no error. No warning. That's good. Save it. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Is an old one, so we don't need that anymore. And now let us configure our test event. And this is why I have my new approach of just making sure I've got this here, because I can just copy it and put it here. Of course, what this is going to do, if we look at our query again, so we say our row primary key is RPK, which in this case is going to be alpha, and if row sort key is greater than RSK, which is going to be 1, and the value type number column is greater than 1. So what would that return? Alpha 1 1. Well, let's save this first. So all results where the primary key is alpha, that's 3, and sort key is, what did it say, greater than 1? Yeah, greater than 1. So it's not going to return this one, it's going to return this and this. And the value type number is greater than 1. Well, 20 is greater than 1, 30 is greater than 1. So in theory, I should get two things back. I should get this guy and this guy. So let's see if that works. Assuming I didn't forget nothing. Query success. Items, value type number, we got our 20. Alpha 20, that's fine. And we got our 30, alpha 30, that's fine. That's it, just those two. Alright, well, that's cool, Joe, but maybe you just jibba-jabbed it and hard-coded it. Well, one, I showed you the code, so you know I didn't jibba-jabba it, but let's go ahead and edit this. I'm going to make this 1. So if that's true, then what's going to happen is, when I run the lambda again, it's only going to return this guy. And there we go. We just have our 30, 30, and just 1. Neato. Alright, and let me go ahead and change this back. Oop, copy, 20. Alright. So, let me see, how else can I modify it? Let's run another test case. Alright, so let's say, configure test event. Let's say Bravo. The sort key is, I say greater than Bravo 1 1. Okay, yeah, if I do this, if I say we're Bravo 1 1, if I say if the primary key is Bravo and the row sort key is greater than 1 and the filter expression is greater than 1, then return the value. But Bravo does not have any keys greater than 1. Alright? So I should get no items back if I run this bad boy. Alright? And I got none back. So I can mess around, and the beauty is, I mean, I don't know where this syntax is coming from, what syntax they're using. I have to look at the documentation some more. But you can do all sorts of things. We can do greater than or equal to. Yeah, let me go greater than or equal to. So if I run that alpha 1 1 again, I should get 3 back. Save. Configure test events. Alpha. Save. And test. Alright, we got 1 1. 20 20. 30 30. So we got all 3 alphas back. Boom. Nice, as they say. What is this? Did I modify my Dynamo read and not update it? Well, I think that just about covers queries. So let me go take a look at my Dynamo read. I don't think anything changed. I remember jumping straight to. I probably just changed some comment or something. Document clients. Oh, this guy still says scan. Why is this a document client scan? Okay, I guess I'll have to. Oh, that's why. Did I not do this? Well, let's see if this still runs. Oh, you know what? It wouldn't even work because that table doesn't exist anymore. Maybe I was modifying this and I didn't update it. Okay. You can see, well, problem number one is it's going to try and go to a table that doesn't exist. So we'll change that to Dynamo Demo Alpha. I think maybe I didn't update it because it's a scan. I didn't really think I should use it, but hey. Ah, I do love me some LaCroix. LaCroix. Alright, so we'll go ahead and include the doc client again. If this is all looking very repetitive, that's actually the point. It becomes practically boilerplate, and it ingrains itself into my memory. I am overflowing with knowledge, and so I need to reinforce these kinds of things. Okay, so it just does a scan, and it pulls back all of the things. Huh. So, according to this, I don't actually take in any input. So it's going to return everything in the table. You can filter it, obviously. So I'll just leave this empty for now. But it just says, well, as long as we have a table name, just use the table name. Document client scan, read success, error from Lambda. Document client. What are you complaining about? Document client is not defined. Didn't I just put that down? Oh, doc client. Helps to name your things consistently, Joe. Alright. It's nice that it does this before I actually try to execute it. Alright. I'm assuming this test environment just has some, has the default stuff. I can make it empty. Let's see if that works. Otherwise, I'll have to go look at the document client API. Read success. We get alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, Bravo 1, and Charlie 1. Is that 5? Is that all 5? Wait, where's that? I could format that output if I really wanted to. Whee! Where's the... Whee! Where's the dealabobber? Oh, it doesn't do the count? Why doesn't it do the count? Send response. Oh, that's why. I'm stringifying the actual data, items within the data, as opposed to the actual data object. Alright, let's make, instead of data.items, we're just going to do data. And make sure this is consistent. I don't like things not matching. Save, test. Yeah, there we go. Items, that's all of them in there. We should have 5 and 5, right? Okay, yeah. So counts 5 because it returns all of them. Now the scan count is interesting. 5. That means how many rows it read. It read all 5 entries within the table. And if you remember on my query, and let's go back to the query. When it executes, I gotta make up my mind about where I want to be. Where does any of us want to be? Let's test it again. Alright. And so it only scanned 3. Now, 3 or 5, what's the big deal? And that's the whole point, is that on a small table, it really doesn't matter. Not that much at all. Mildly inefficient, but yeah, it's okay. But if you're going to have a really large table, you really don't want to do that, especially if you want to stay within the free tier on Amazon, because you get charged, I think, per row access if you exceed a certain. I forgot the pricing. I think it's something like if you're in a certain tier and you exceed a certain number of requests per minute or second, then it starts throttling you, as in slowing down the response. And, if you have a user accessing an application and then things get slow, it's going to be very bad for them. So if you want to speed it up, you have to pay Amazon more money. Duh. Or, instead of doing a freaking scan, you can actually do a query instead. So yeah, that's that. Nice. And we are pretty much at the close to the 30-minute mark. So what I'm gonna do, you know what I'm gonna do? First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these placeholder files, these old ones. I do not need you, and I do not need you anymore. And then I'm going to commit the code and push it. Get set, git status. Oof. Modify, deleted, added, git that, lambda, Freelancer Joe, Dynamo git demo, Dynamo query demo, and Dynamo update demo. Clear, git status, branches ahead by 2 commits, so git commit -am, and let's say DynamoDB completion. We push that bad boy. We all pushed. Let's double check to make sure it's in there. I'm quite certain it is. Did I click? I click. Wait, that's not where I should. Oh, there we go. AWI, lambda, 25 seconds. And there, we have all of them. And we good. So I am going to wrap this up for now. Oh, let me go ahead and move back into the center of the frame where I belong. Wrapping this up for now. That's pretty good, I think, as far as, well, the Dynamo stuff. There's probably one other Lambda thing I want to try, but we can dig into that. Well, and we'll dig into that later. I'll keep you in suspense as to what it's going to be. So thank you for joining me. Cool kid words about commenting, liking, suggesting, subscribing. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day or night whenever you're watching this, or morning. Well, if it's morning, I hope you have a good day. And in the meantime, take care and God bless.